What if I told you that a common spice, probably sitting in your kitchen right now, holds a powerful secret to tackling a huge health issue? Today, we're going to dive into how a very, very specific kind of turmeric could be a total game changer for your liver. And trust me, the answer might surprise you.
But let me start by asking you something. You've probably heard the term fatty liver disease, right? But do you know just how serious it can be if you don't catch it in time? It affects millions of people, and the tricky part is it often does its damage without any obvious symptoms at first.
And that brings us right to our first section, really getting a handle on this silent threat. We're going to break down what fatty liver disease actually is, how it develops, and why it is so important to pay attention to it early on. So, what are we talking about here? Well, fatty liver disease is pretty much what it sounds like. It's a condition where way too much fat gets built up inside your liver cells. And this isn't some rare thing. It affects tens of millions of people all over the globe, which makes it incredibly common and also pretty serious. And this whole thing doesn't just happen overnight. It's a slow burn. It starts with a little bit of fat building up, but if you don't do anything about it, that can lead to inflammation, which then leads to scarring. And eventually it can cause permanent liver damage called cirrhosis. This is exactly why catching it early is the whole ball game.
So what's causing this? Well, the usual suspects are often tied to our modern way of life. We're talking about things like eating too much fatty, sugary food, all those ultra-processed snacks, obesity, insulin resistance, and drinking too much alcohol. It all puts a huge strain on the liver and messes with its ability to handle fat.
But here's where the story takes a much more hopeful turn. Because while changing your lifestyle is absolutely key, there's a natural ally that has shown some incredible promise in this fight. Yep, we're talking about the turmeric connection.
For literally centuries, ancient traditions like Ayurveda and modern science have both pointed to turmeric as this amazing healing spice. But the real magic isn't in the yellow powder itself. It's all thanks to one specific active compound inside it, and its name is curcumin. That's the stuff that gives turmeric its incredible anti-inflammatory and antioxidant powers.
So how does this curcumin stuff actually help your liver? Well, with fatty liver, the cells get all inflamed and can't do their job right. Curcumin basically swoops in to fight that inflammation directly. It lowers the stress that damages the cells, and it even helps to stop more fat from building up in the first place. Pretty amazing, right?
Now this all sounds fantastic. You're probably thinking, great, I'll just start dumping more turmeric on everything. But hold on a second. Here's the twist you probably didn't see coming. Is that regular old turmeric sitting in your spice cabinet actually strong enough to do any of this?
And the answer, which might shock you, is probably not. See, the power of turmeric comes from its curcumin content. And here's the kicker. The standard turmeric you buy at the grocery store, it usually only has about 2 to 5% curcumin. That concentration is so low, you'd have to eat a ridiculous amount to get any real benefit.
But this is where a very special variety of turmeric comes into the picture. It's time to introduce you to a type of turmeric that is in a completely different league, especially when we're talking about liver health. Let's talk about Lakadong turmeric.
So, what is this stuff? Well, unlike the generic turmeric you find everywhere, Lakadong is a special variety that only grows in one place, the Jaitia Hills of Meghalaya in India. And it's famous all over the world for one really important reason.
Just look at this showdown. While ordinary turmeric is sitting there with 2 to 5% curcumin, Lakadong turmeric comes in with a whopping 7 to 12%. That makes it about 4 times more potent, 4 times stronger than what you probably have at home right now.
I mean, the difference is just staggering when you see it on a chart like this. There's just so much more of that active, healing compound packed into Lakadong. And when you're trying to tackle a condition like fatty liver, that high concentration is exactly what you need to make a real impact.
And what that all means for you is actually pretty simple. Less is more. You can get a powerful therapeutic effect with a much smaller amount. You're getting the potency you need without having to choke down spoonfuls of the stuff, which, let's be honest, just isn't realistic with regular turmeric.
Okay, so you get it. This Lakadong turmeric is the real deal. But how do you actually use it? Let's get practical and talk about turning this into a simple, daily, liver-protecting ritual.
There are 3 really easy ways to do this. First, you've got the classic golden milk. Just mix about half a teaspoon in warm milk before you go to bed. It helps your liver and helps you sleep better too. Second, you can make a morning drink. Boil half a teaspoon with some water and ginger, strain it, maybe add a little lemon, and drink it on an empty stomach.
Or third, just make a little paste with water and add half a teaspoon to your lentils or veggies. A half to 1 teaspoon a day is really all you need.
And hey, the benefits don't just stop at your liver. Because of that super high curcumin content, Lakadong turmeric is also amazing for boosting your immune system, helping your digestion, improving your skin, and even easing joint pain. You get all the goodness of regular turmeric, but on a whole other level. Now, before you run off to buy some, there is one last really important step, making sure you're actually getting the authentic stuff. So let's quickly go over a smart buyer's checklist so you can find the real deal.
To make sure you're not getting ripped off, you've got to be a smart shopper. First, look for something called the Geographical Identification Tag, or GI tag. It's a label that proves it's the real thing from the right region. Always buy from sellers you trust, check the reviews, and finally, make sure the package actually lists the curcumin percentage. That way, you know you're getting the potency you're paying for.
So there you have it. We've gone from a silent threat to a powerful, natural solution from the hills of Meghalaya. We've seen how a specific, potent version of a simple spice can make a world of difference for our health. So the final question is, are you ready to unlock that power for yourself?